First of all, what encourages private?
Yes, see, let me
I
tell you
thought
something.
I
Let me tell you something, Cody. Now, go to Bonny for instance. Now, the reason why Bonny is said to be flourishing with the NLNG is because government made it possible for NLNG to, to flourish in Bonny, and so now the ripple effect is that the people in that region are enjoying all the development strides, right? So,
remember what I said. I said government encouragement. Not only government, the citizens. The truth is that in the 90s and probably late 80s and 2000, we became very hostile to foreign entrepreneurs. You had hiring of blocking companies,
all right, now, yeah.
cutting heads, kidnapping, and the rest of it. That was why the entrepreneurs, those foreigners of major oil companies who would have invested in this state, migrated.
Now, Cody, you're looking in the past. We're looking at the present. Okay, we agree with you on those aspects, on those things.
Let me land.
Okay.
Let me land. This government of River State and people of River State, if we change our attitudes,
okay,
if it become friendly, like the Yoruba, the West, let me not cover tribes. If you get to that place, they will do everything to encourage you to do whatever you want. At times they will even lie down on you where they are greeting you. Here, what is our attitude? If we want development, the type we are talking about, let's Akoda. We change in a second. This is what happened in Lagos. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much.
Talking about attitude, very
true, yeah.
But then, guys, you would remember that the government is trying as much as they can to, change the attitudes of people. Take, for instance, the tax force on
ease of doing
business, the illegal trading, everything. So I feel like that's all part of it, right? As the sooner the people get to realize that it's their attitude or the way they welcome investors that allow them grow, then the better for them. And we can't take that away from the government. They're also trying.
I mean, and to add to that one, I mean, the government last year encouraged the stopping of what do you call this, matching grant and all of those double taxation. We saw them say any taxes or any taxing rather will come from the ROS, that's the River State Internal Revenue Service. And we've seen a lot of these boys now going into hiding. I mean, those boys would usually stand on the road and say, hey, you are here, give me money, give me this. All of them are going into hiding, and the RIRS is the one now in charge of taxation in the state. So yes, just maybe the government is also playing her part in ensuring that the attitude of various people change towards investors. And I guess that's why the governor did set up we are called the Garden City, for God's sake. All right, to this call, 95.1 FM, what's your name? Where are you calling in from?
Okay, I'm Chris, calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, Chris, welcome. Chris.
Yes, I want to start, when we talk of development, like River State, for example, we've not developed to that point of having a monorail. People don't understand.
Why? What do you mean? Do you know?
I want to tell you now. I mean, you cannot have few checks. So many things. So he has not.
All right.
So I think he's doing well.
All right then. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
But please don't say that we're not ready for a monorail.
I mean, I don't get.
We've been subjected to like lower standards, and so we're used to it because the point is our roads should have been good since 19.
But then again, I'm also thinking, for instance, you see the Port Harcourt Mall that was built near the government house. Imagine if it was built at MOA, and everybody. MOA is close to Chuba, by the way. It's not far away from Obiakpo, and everybody who wants to go see a movie has to go to MOA. It brings development to MOA. Imagine maybe the government wants to set up another mall and sets it up at Oyibo. Anybody who wants to travel or who wants to gets to Oyibo. Now the people in Oyibo, number one, landlords will get tenants. I don't even want to go into the business.
What you just said now, the first mall in Lagos State was the Palms shopping mall in Lekki. Lekki was bush. The first time I went there, Lekki was bush. Like, it was all bush. And I was like, why did they put this thing here? Like, I was talking to my dad. It was all bush.
They had the blueprints.
You see palm trees and everything. And I didn't go to Lekki for like 10 years. And then next time I'm going there, I'm like, okay.
They had the
this
blueprints.
is happening.
My dad's like, that's the Palms shopping mall. I'm like, the Palms? But this thing wasn't here before. That thing wasn't there before. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. That's what you said. It's really a great one.
Now this one says, please, I want to know if Abua Udwa local government area is part of Rivers State. I am Sam from Abua. Sam, I would have to check the map. The map
Please,
of
let's
Rivers.
confirm
Let's
and get back
confirm.
to
Let's
you.
confirm and get back to you. This one says, happy birthday, Bulu. I don't think. These 5 years, is that what you meant to say? I think they should concentrate more on developmental projects, especially in rural areas, and they should focus on governance rather than play politics with certain issues. And this one says, greetings, crew. For me, the governor has done his best to what he thinks is the best for the state for the past 5 years. But then I think they should think deep on how development can spread across to other LGAs that has good space of land, like Delga, that is Degima local government area, MOA, etc., other than concentrating on Falga and Obiakpo. Thanks. I remain Honorable Malon. And this one says, I hear a caller giving excuse why Lagos should not be compared with Port Harcourt because Lagos was one time a capital of Nigeria, but that is nonsense. Was Calabar not a capital of Nigeria too? Lagos has no oil, but has been governed by visionary leadership. It is late already for Rivers State. Daniel Gibson, come on now. It cannot be late. When we have the Balogun of Port Harcourt, it cannot be late now.
And the man of the people.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is my name is Imam Managbam from Eche in Rivers State. This administration has not done anything in terms of employment since 2015 till date. They should call for employment. All right, that's your problem, I guess. This one says, please color that the government should be a continuous one. The previous government built a fire service station at Rumodumaya opposite police station. Color that up till now, the building is dilapidated or dilapidating. Is that what you meant to say? Stanley from Rumodumaya. All right.
You see why we sometimes do not see continuation in projects from one government to another is because they don't want a situation where people will not accredit the success of that.
But that is the me versus you now.
See, you remember what happened in the whole in Akwa Ibom State where people were like, it's Akpabio, it's Atta who had brought development to Akwa Ibom State, and then you would think about it and say, maybe this is why most of this governments don't even try.
So the people are the problem.
No. It's not
Like the people now.
No, it's not the people.
The people are the fans who are shouting, go, go, Bolu, go, Bolu, go. And this says, good day, KWB. Week's 5 years achievement, 3 flyover under construction, employment of tax force, 5 years without payment of students' bursary, building of football academy, concentrating projects in Obiakpo, running a government without budget. We are bigger than this. Visionless running of government in Nigeria and the states. Zacchaeus, all right, Zacchaeus, thank you very much for that one. This one says, good afternoon, guys. Wow, this is long. We have really fallen in our thinking faculty as human beings in Nigeria. Why would any sensible person be saying road construction is an achievement for a government? Is road construction everything a government can do for its people? The educational sector is non-existent. The health sector is bad. The state is not industrialized. There has not been any employment in the past 5 years. The state has been budgetless for the past 5 years. The little development is centralized in 2 LGAs. Yes, Wike is the governor for 23 local government areas. It should act as such and spread development to other areas. Wham Thomas. Now, this one says, good afternoon. I'm Elichi. Good luck from Rumuji. I really commend the River State government for the ongoing development in other parts of the state, such as Port Harcourt City and Obiakpo local government areas, as well as other LGAs that I cannot mention now. Meanwhile, I still doubt if MOA local government is part of River State. To my greatest surprise that no development is being extended to this part of the state. Please, I call on the River State government to extend some of the development down here. Thanks. Stay safe. And I would have to check if MOA. I have to check on the when we go outside the studio, please. That River State map. Bring it out so that we'll check if MO1 Abua is still part of River State. We need to check these things out. But this is we signing out. And that is how we wrap up today's hustle for the week. Do have yourself a fun-filled Friday.
It has been an amazing week. Join us next week, Monday, when we come back to hustle again.
All right, then. Stay tuned to Today 95.1 FM. The Sport Gang is prepping up for June. when the Premiership returns, of course. Yes, and that's not fun.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Let's talk football. Let's talk football.
What a devastating strike!
Football is a leisure game.
Sports is actually my job.
Football is boring.
That's not true. It's way more important than that.
What a wonderful goal! Fantastic strike!
As far as I'm concerned, sports is all about passion.
Sports Attack, weekdays 7:30 a.m. and Today's Sports Live 3 p.m. Weekends 1 p.m. to 6 p.m.
For all you need to know in the world of sports, leave the dial on Today 95.1 FM.
Hello, my name is Kanu Wanko, aka Papilo. For the latest and trending sports stories, always listen to Today Sports Live on Today 95.1 FM Port Harcourt.
It is not more news that the Premier League returns on the 17th of June 2020. But what may be news to you is the return of the Italian Serie A and the La Liga as we get set to see football from top 4 elite leagues now in Europe coming back to our screen after the French Ligue 1 decided to call off their season, crowning PSG the champions based on a points per game basis, something that the Nigeria Professional Football League they will exploit just in case they are unable to, take the league to the end. It's great to have you join us on the weekend edition of Today's Sports Live from this frequency to the 95.1 FM right here in the Garden City of Port Harcourt. Thank you very much for being right there. I remain your reliable radio spokesman, the classical gentleman. My name is Reliable Reliance Udonian, set on this side of the divide to drive you through the proceedings as we get the show started. Joining me on the show this afternoon is your Superman in the world of sports. We cannot leave football for snowball. Wisdom Obina joins us. Great to have you join us, Wisdom. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Reliance. Good afternoon to you listening to us. It's always a pleasure to be here. And once again, they've switched on the song for us. And of course, we have to now dance to the beats of the European leagues. The major leagues are back. And it's a great thing to know that we'll get to see Manchester United, Bayern Munich, they've already started, Juventus and the others, and even Barcelona.
Start with Manchester City taking on Arsenal on that very first day. Arsenal fans are already crying. I didn't say anything. All right, so dates have been set for the return of the Spanish La Liga and the Italian Serie A. And of course, Sunday Diary, the sport minister, have given conditions on which Gennaro Rohr will be sacked if he failed to meet those conditions. Those are the headlines of what we will be discussing on the show this great afternoon. Thank God it's Friday, they always say, but for us, it's a different ballgame entirely because we are here to do justice to sporting analysis and discussions, giving you all the details required for you to enjoy a sporting field weekend. Much later, phone lines will be thrown open for you to air your contribution on the show. And then other feedback platforms that we have is our Twitter handle, which is at TodayFM951, at TodayFM951. And of course, you can copy me as Reliable Rely, or you can copy Wisdom at Wisdom_OB. SMS and WhatsApp portal is opened, pretty much open. You can turn in your contributions right there, 0701 9339 962, 0701 9339 962. Those are the feedback platform for you to air your contribution on the show this afternoon after I've given you the headlines of what we shall be talking about among. Let's start off from a Super Eagles player who has made, what should I call it now? Made named for himself in the just concluded season. Or should I say just concluded season or yet to be concluded season? All right. He's no other person than Moses Simon. He has been named Nonce Player of the Year for the 2019-2020 season. Okay. It was their outstanding performer in a campaign that was curtailed due to the coronavirus pandemic, which I've told you a new date has been set for the resumption of the league. And he's on loan at Nantes, as you may know, from La Liga side Levante. He has scored 9 goals so far and provided 8 assists in 30 games in all competitions. And his excellent performances have now been rewarded by the fans, who awarded him 40% of the vote in the polling for the award as the Nantes Player of the Year for the year 2019-2020 season. Wisdom, considering the performance of the man, looks like one side of the wing, that's the wing forward now in the Super Eagles setup, is already being sealed by the man Moses Simon. If you look at his performance for the yet to be concluded season.
Well, he doesn't exactly work that way anyway, because we've seen over time that whatever players put out for their clubs doesn't exactly just turn out to success with the national team, especially here in the Super Eagles. I mean, I could sing too many 1,000 songs about what Wilfred indeed does at Leicester City, but I can't exactly say the same in terms of his performance with the Super Eagles, even if he has not done badly. But if you see what he does at Leicester City, you definitely might not exactly say it's the same thing he does with the Super Eagles. So, but then again, it's actually a good thing. He's fused. I mean, the things he has had, Moses Simon, with the Super Eagles has been brilliant, and it's a very good one for him. It's a very good one for his confidence. At first, when he made that move now from Belgium down to the
Levante
Spanish
side.
La Liga, we almost thought it was going to be the end after 5 or 6 games, and we couldn't make any. And he started swimming again, and of course, the result is what you're seeing: 9 goals and 8 assists, brilliant. The target that was set for the man was about 10 goals, and he was able to do 9 and 8 assists with a lot of games left. Brilliant displays he had with that team. Was the face of the side this season, and I'm not surprised that the fans alike decided to actually hand him this award. A good consolation for a season that ended abruptly, and not much was made out of his performances in terms of the effect it had on the team. If you look at the season generally, but I tell you, Reliance, it's a brilliant one that he's gotten this one. It's good for his confidence, but in terms of the national team, I don't know if this would definitely translate. A good confidence helps any player, and it might also translate to the national team. But let's see, time will tell. There are a lot of people who are jostling for that position right now.
All right, just for correction right there, it is Nantes. Their season has been completed. That is in the French Ligue 1. It is the Spanish La Liga that is yet to be completed, which a new dates have been released or announced, which I'm going to give out to you much later on the show. But Wisdom, what do you make of Moses Simon at this point? Stick to Nantes if you're given a permanent deal, return to previous club in the Spanish La Liga, Levante, or move for another club, which will be a wiser decision for the man at this moment?
Well, it all depends on the offer on the cards. I'm not among those. He's 24 years of age. If you want to play for the big teams, this is the time. You won't play for the big teams when you're 27, because we've seen that the era of football these days is the era of the youth. No, but people don't even go for. You're 30 years old and you're scoring goals. Nobody wants to listen, except maybe some teams in some quarters now, like the Turkish league and what have you. So if you want to play for the big teams, this is the time. So if he gets offers, I think the man should move. Outside Nantes, because Nantes as a team, with all due respect to them, they're a team that could crash any day. They could be relegated. The French league is not even among the top 3 leagues in Europe. Yes, it's not among the top 3.
Wow.
You look at the
Premier League,
richest teams, whatever measure you want to use, TV rights and what have you. If they could comfortably end their league, it means that they don't have too many people to pay. But just a joke, by the way. But really, he should actually look at his options. With this kind of move, yes, the last time he tried to make a big leap from a small team to a bigger team now in terms of Levante from Gent.
Genk.
It didn't really work out well for him now. But Ghent, is it Ghent? Ghent rather. It didn't really
Belgium,
work out for him. But it could actually work out at this point if he gets maybe a breakthrough move to an above average side. Because even in the French league, I mean, it's not a crime if he goes to Marseille. It's not a bad thing if he plays for Lyon.
Yeah.
But these are teams I feel they do have the pedigree to still stay alive in the French league, and they do have ambition.
Yeah.
But Nantes as a team, what is the level of their ambition? If they make it to the Europa League, it's a miracle. They would celebrate it. So it all depends on the options on the cards for him. But then again, his career was almost going down the line, where if he wasn't very careful, he would have been thrown to one team, maybe among the other teams down the ranks right there in Spain. So if he looks at his options, this is the only thing that is available for him. Maybe he should actually stick with it. But if he gets any big option, I hear Nantes, even if they are of course they've made the deal. They have plans to make it permanent.
There are reports that they are looking at making it a permanent deal.
I even hear they've agreed a deal with Simon. They don't have issues with Simon.
Yeah.
They're just waiting for the blast of the whistle now in terms of the transfers to just for cash to change hand. But they've agreed in principle. So if they decide, because Levante too would be considering their options. But there's a buy. I think there's a clause there that says you can actually keep him, which they might be exploiting.
To the Spanish La Liga, well, like a million star for the club, because right now he has been awarded the award of the best player of the season for the club. So could it be said that it is because of the club he went to? I mean, the pedigree you've talked about that for the bigger clubs. He went to Nantes, he shined.
Theory that some players are built for the big teams, while some other players are built for the small teams. I'm definitely not one of those who would buy into that. But if that is to go by, maybe he could consider himself a small fish. But the truth is, I feel if you're good enough, you should play for the big sides. Albeit that he tested Ghent and Levante. I mean, with all due respect, Levante is not a big side per se. Albeit that they are in a bigger league than Ghent. But Levante is definitely not a big side. So if
they can be placed side by side with Nantes, Levante.
Albeit that I feel the leagues are not in the same level. But they could be placed side by side with Nantes. It would also be the league and not just the club involved. It could be that the Spanish league did not work out for him. The coach also and the formation deployed. People talk about players these days. Paul Pogba, and there's this big comparison going on between Paul Pogba and Kevin De Bruyne. And some people are saying if Pogba was surrounded with the same players KDB was surrounded by, how would he probably be performing in terms of performances and all that stuff? So it could also be the same thing. It could be that the team he played for, that's Levante, their style is not suited for it doesn't really work well for the man. Moses is a pacey player, very fast, can take on players also, and can finish brilliantly if given the opportunity. So I think it could also be that rather than the fact that he can't. People talk about Lukaku. Some say, he can't play for a big team because he was tested at Chelsea and he didn't really work out too well. I wouldn't call his stay at Manchester United a disaster. I think it was just okay, albeit that Mourinho at some point had his own plans. Inter Milan, he's moved to. Inter Milan is not a small team and he's performing. So I don't think any player, if you have the quality, if you're good enough, your quality might not just be there. But I don't think there's any player that is not built for a particular level of team. Maybe the style, which is where I feel is very important. Some players are not built for a particular style. Some players like a team or flourish in a team where it is all for one. That is, everybody fights for each other. Some of that struggle to go by the term is not used to that formation. We talk about how to bring.
Now, let me pick something from the statement of the Minister of Sport. He said, we are going to hold him to a higher standard of responsibility. A higher standard of responsibility to a greater depth of technicality. That sounds like a rhyming, football, and to a greater level of success. Do you see the conditions as being the height of the standard that we could have? I followed a tweet of Amaju Pinnick just announcing the sealing of the deal with Ghana Raw, and I saw some comments with some person saying that, that our standard, like, it's 2013 that we won the last AFCON, and that's below our standard. And I was asking myself, what standard do we have? So, AFCON have been won before, 2013, all right? It's not like a new thing. we've qualified before to the World Cup. It's not a new thing. In fact, the man qualified us to the 2018 concluded World Cup in Russia with a game to spare, with a game in hand. So, are this standard the proper standard that's supposed to be set for Gennaro Raw at this point? Or don't you think there should have been a higher achievement that should be set out for the man Gennaro Raw? Owing to the fact that this man has he has been with the team for about, I think June is going to make it 4 years.
Well, Reliance, you have to look at the width and the length of the contract to be able to actually talk about what would be his years now, and that's actually go to the Nations Cup and qualify for the World Cup. Those are the two basic activities. The World Cup is not coming in the next 2 years now for us. So it doesn't get bigger than winning the Nations Cup and qualifying us for the World Cup. Those are the two basic targets in front of the Nigerian Football Federation for the next 2.5 years now, as you said. So I think that's just why he was giving those targets. For the past 4 years has been not really experimental, but they've been what I would call the years of resurgence for the Super Eagles, first of all, because we had this downward spiral after we won the Nations Cup in 2013. We had some years, 1 or 2 years, when football was not where it was in 2013, and we didn't even qualify for the Nations Cup the next time
in two occasions, back to back.
But when Raw came in, he met that team at that level, and we could not ask for winning the Nations Cup when we had not tasted even a qualification the past 2 times. And that's why they decided, okay, maybe a semi-final, a third place finish, a semi-final finish. Because the man met all the targets. All the targets they set for him. I think the only place where he faltered might be the World Cup, where I heard a lot of unrealistic targets. Somebody said we are going to get to win the World Cup. We are going to get to the semi. Some unrealistic targets. So it was obvious that they had no target for the man, clear-cut target, maybe outside maybe the usual get to the next round. So I think that's the only place where he fell short. But in terms of the Nations Cup, he met the standards they set. The question is, are their standards Nigerian standard? Because one thing we do here in Nigeria, once we start winning, we forget that there were days when we had issues. So I think that's what it is. For the next 2.5 years, it's simple. We need to qualify for the World Cup, possibly with games to spare. I wouldn't mind that. And we need to actually go to the Nations Cup and prove a point. We've gotten to the 3rd place the last time. You don't want to go to... We've not even qualified for the Nations Cup. That's the truth. We've not even qualified
although we are leading. We are leading the group.
In pole position now if it's a Formula 1 to actually qualify. So if peradventure we get to the Nations Cup proper, this is your target. You are to win the Nations Cup. If you don't even get to the Nations Cup, you're already out. Then if you get to the Nations Cup, anything less than winning the Nations Cup is a failure, and you need to qualify us for the World Cup. As far as I'm concerned, those are the 2 biggest things in front of us now as a footballing community in Nigeria. And I mean, what are that standard?
Considering the duration.
Considering the duration. So some people are bringing the other idea of why not task him to take our football from where it is now to where it was in 1994.
How do you do that if you don't win trophies?
Exactly. And I'm asking that question. How do you do that if you don't win games? If you don't qualify for the World Cup? If you don't win...
Of course, once you start winning trophies and meeting your target, that means the development of football must have been positive.
Very true. He cannot generate talents for Nigerian football. He's going to work with what he has. So he can't bring in Daniel Amokachi again. He can't raise a JJ Okocha again. He can't bring in, Rashidi Yekini. He can't raise him from the dead. So he has to work with what he has. The question is, would he be able to work with these talents and bring out the best in them? Which is where I'm actually particular about. But then again, I think these targets are just the targets that I feel are in front of us, and they are big enough, to actually set in front of Genotro at this time.
Okay. Reason we hear that CAF will be giving the NFF $200,000. That's approximation of 74.4 million naira from CAF to help manage the financial fallout of the coronavirus. It was actually announced yesterday. CAF had an emergency meeting on a video conference call, and they decided that the money will be disbursed to all 54 member associations to help cope with the disruption from the ravaging virus. A total of $10.8 million, has been doled out by CAF to its 54 member associations, and normal eligibility requirement to access the fund have been waived due to the exigencies occasioned by the coronavirus pandemic, CAF said in a statement. And the CAF president, Ahmad Ahmad, actually confirmed this. He said, let me quote the statement directly, he said, due to the fast spread of COVID-19, African member associations have suspended all domestic competitions, which has brought about huge financial burdens on their shoulders. CAF has thus decided to waive the eligibility requirement to access the annual grant, so all member associations can benefit during this difficult period. What's coming in right there from Ahmad Ahmad. And CAF is also assessing the possibility of providing funding for member associations to help with restarting and organizing domestic competitions which were halted due to the pandemic. One, of course, which is our own Nigeria Professional Football League, suspended due to the pandemic as well. Way to go by CAF, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's a good measure going forward. The countries in Africa are in dire need of things like this. We already know that some leagues do not have the capacity to run on their own. I talk more of a nation that is plagued with the current crisis. Economically, the leagues are not even viable in the first place. Some of the leagues, not all. And it now gets to this crunch time. You now wonder, how do they survive and how do they thrive? Countries are borrowing. Our own president here is looking for an approval of $5.5 billion to borrow that also. So it tells you that this is not a time to throw money around. Nobody is going to start, just sending money everywhere. And if you look at what was sent by FIFA, it doesn't. We talked about that here in the studio. Yeah. The money would not go anywhere. How many people would you give?
We are looking at a total of
actually,
we are looking at a total of $700,000 now. CAF gave $500,000.
It's good you called it.
Sorry, FIFA gave $500,000.
Yeah.
CAF will be giving the NFF $200,000. That's a total of $700,000.
And they're giving the NFF.
Yeah, the NFF.
The LMC.
And now it's from the LMC. It's from the NFF rather that the LMC tend to benefit because they are what is it called now? A subsidiary of the NFF. At this point, Reliance, they should be able to do one or two things.
Reliance, the thing is, the management of money in this country is laughable most of the time, But originally, if you look at the other countries, if we're naturally a clean country where corruption was at its lowest
minimal level,
exactly, then definitely you would tend to understand or believe that this money is nowhere near enough. 77.4 million naira. We've analyzed this here in the building. We analyzed the FIFA money. We converted it to naira also. I can't get the naira equivalent now. How do you share it? Now, this NFF, they have the Super Eagles. They have the under 23. They have under 20. They have the under 17s. They have the what they call it.
Is it the future Eagles?
Both the male and female side
and
of
things.
They
also have the LMC.
So you now look at the league.
LMC
also.
are not independent.
If you measure the two sides of it, my brother, you just tend to believe that this money is not only one tournament. Reliance, one tournament, and this money would not even go anywhere. And I would just be surprised. What I would be surprised the Reliance next 2 months when the leagues or whatever would say.
That post-COVID-19, sport in Africa is going to be bleak. Like the future of sports in Africa will be bleak. You know why? Because sport is not a business in Africa. Let's head to the phone lines. 0817-000951, 0810-951-0951. Was Simon awarded Nantes Player of the Season? And should he stay on at Nantes, continue there? Or do you think he's not a player for the bigger club, or he should move forward and go back to Levante? And then the conditions outlined by the sport minister for Gennaro to fulfill before he will be considered more likely for another renewal. Or do you think he's going to be able to meet up, or are they high enough for that man considering the extent to which he has stayed with the Nigerian Super Eagles? 95.1 Today Sports Live. Name and location.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. That sounds like Selo West.
Yes, I've got the sports minister now is speaking like the NFF chairman. See the problem of Nigeria.
You just reminded me. I was going to ask you that question. Go ahead.
The NFF, they don't have money to run that organization. That's why they allowed the minister to come in. If not, the minister have no business speaking on behalf of NFF is autonomous. And they derive their power from FIFA.
Yeah, but just so we are clear, Selo West, the sport minister is not speaking outside the conditions set by the NFF, all right? It's still buttressing what Amaju Pinnick, said before now.
The NFF board has spoken. Why is he repeating, echoing what the NFF chairman?
Because as you said, the NFF is under the sport ministry.
Well, the politics there now. Moses Simon, I don't know how that guy plays football, but he's a very tactical footballer. I think France has been a place that will get a fortune.
All right, so he should stay on at France.
Yes, and I think that club, he should remain in that club for 2 seasons.
Okay, all right. It will be 26 by then.
If you want to switch, he can switch to a bigger club in that France also.
All right, so Lois, let's leave it there. Thank you very much. Appreciate you calling in. 95.1 Today Sports Live. Hello? Okay, we lost you. The word call us back if you can. 0817 000951 and 0810-951-0951. Those are the phone numbers for you to your contributions on the show. We equally have our SMS and WhatsApp portal, which is doubled at 070-19339-962. So back to the phone lines. 95.1 Today Sports Live.
Good afternoon. I greet everyone out today.
We are doing very much fine. No photocopy from Rumigbo. Your contribution.
Yeah, bless brother man. Yeah, right. I think I said yesterday the issue of Kenneth Roy cannot win the Nations Cup in 2021 with a couple of players that we have at hand.
Okay.
Even those who offer him the job and the conditions know that that will not work out because of the current
the crop of players at his disposal. So you think those players are not good enough to win the AFCON?
No, they can't give us AFCON.
Okay.
Let me make one point. Just the way our players played home and away in a Champions League.
But he said none of them play apart from Didi. None of them play 90 minutes.
Yes, I didn't count what they did in France. I didn't count what are they doing in France. Where is Manchester United winning PSG?
All right.
So that is the thing.
All right, then photocopy. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for calling in. Next caller, 95.1 Today Sports Live.
My brothers in the studio, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Name, location, and contribution.
Odi is my name. Ex-academicals. I'm a member of Serpents of Owerri and Ex-Rangers International.
All right, go ahead.
Regional and sub-regional pattern of plays affects a player.
Okay.
If you get to Spain, they tend to be freer in the midfield but ruthless in the defense. If you get to English football, we are not free anywhere. We are always marked down. In France, they tend to be free everywhere.
Okay.
This has to be, a player has to study this before he makes his move. So he might find it difficult. So I advise the person.
Okay. So you should stay on at France.
Sorry?
You should stay on at France. Yeah, go ahead with the issue of Gennaro, yeah?
Yeah, you should stay on at France. Where is performing better now?
Okay, talk about Gennaro. Yeah.
Gennaro, it's a pity that we have publicly, set standard for him.
Okay.
This should have been something done privately because by doing so, we have undermined his efficiency.
All right. Thank you very much for dropping by and giving us a contribution. But I think they've criticized that before, Wisdom. What is the target of this man? During his previous era, before his contract was renewed, he was criticized, like the NFF was somewhat criticized. But let's get back to the front lines. 95.1 Today Sports Live.
Hello.
We can hear you. Name and location and contribution.
Yes, Reliance. This is Lawson calling from Yenekwa.
All right, Lawson, go ahead.
Seriously, Moses Simon, I don't know why in Nigeria when we have suddenly forgotten how he was in Spain. Why I didn't get wisdom, but I hope he's not telling him to leave none. I didn't hear him too much because that is where somehow he has been able to find his motion and all that, and then he's doing well. Why are we suddenly now saying he should leave France? That is where he's doing well. He should stay there. Then Genetro, I have said it severally. Genetro has reached his elastic limit. Even he himself, he doesn't know that he has reached that limit. You understand? He thinks that with the crop of players he's seeing, he thinks he can win something for Nigeria. That's what he's thinking. But I am telling you that he's making a mistake.
Okay.
Winning this, do you know what it means to win a Nations Cup? Can Nigeria, with this crop of players, don't forget, Genetro, even in that group stage, did not top the group. Madagascar did.
All right.
You understand? A debutant. So I feel that Genetro should have taken a walk. But he has decided to stay back and probably be disgraced. That is what he has come to do. So I don't know, for him signing that contract, I felt the chicken has actually come home to roast.
Okay. All right, Lawson. I love the way you concluded it with a parable right there. Let's take some SMS and WhatsApp messages, Wisdom.
Good afternoon, Reliable Reliance. I'm Precious Newton, DK. Texting you from a chair. I don't like it when... sports presenters will always like to be controversial. You say the English Premier League is back and Arsenal fans have started crying and later said I didn't say anything. What do you mean by that? I'm an Arsenal fan. Please stop laughing on us. We love our club. This one says... good afternoon, guys. I'm Iro Kachima from Afara Iche. Moses Simon should stay at Nantes for a better move. Good day, guys. Gernot Rohr will surprise NFF and the world at large in the Africa Cup of Nations coming up soon. For me, the man is good. Gary from Ruboku. Good afternoon, guys. Moses Simon is good, pacey, and can hold his own in some teams, and so should take a higher step in his career if such opportunity arises. The condition of winning the AFCON in Rohr's contract is very much achievable, but it can be achieved if only the NFF and sports minister and Nigerians give him the support that he needs. Victory Emirates from Ilili. This one says, good afternoon, presenters. The assignment given to Gernot Rohr is achievable with the caliber of players we do have in the Super Eagles. Winning the AFCON is our target in Cameroon next year. Ukechukwu from Rumokoro.
95.1 Today Sports Live.
Good afternoon.
Greetings to you. Name and location and contribution.
Nicholas from Port Harcourt.
Go ahead.
Please, I don't understand when people say this crop of players cannot win a Nations Cup. I don't know. Because you had a special crop of players that can win. Don't that was a local player. I know about 6 other players or 5 other players.
Yeah, there were 6 of them from the local league. Yeah,
won the Nations Cup.
Yeah.
So every player, when it is time, they can win anything. Even the World Cup, Nigeria can win it.
Okay.
There's no special player to win a World Cup or win a Nations Cup.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate you for calling in. 95.1 Today Sports Live.
Good afternoon.
Greetings to you, Eto.
Well done.
Eto, go ahead quickly, please.
I disagree with that, my brother. I would say that Nigeria does not have a player to win World Cup. Those certain that we have.
World Cup is not one of the conditions. The Nations Cup.
Nations Cup. Pardon me.
Eto, go ahead. No time, bro.
We have to win Nations Cup.
Okay.
But the problem there was the coach, and he said the coach because you don't have the tactics to play a forward football.
All right.
You can only defend when you have a chance. You strike. That is what General is playing with Moses Simon. For the fact that he's excelled in that club,
you should stay on
there because not all player that was made for a big team.
All right, man. Let's leave it there. So thank you very much. 95.1 Today Sports Live. Okay, we lost you right there. One more quote before we move down to discussing the German Bundesliga. All right, let's talk to this caller. 95.1 Today Sports Live.
This is
Shadrach Amadi, go ahead.
Yeah, please, I want to let me and beg Lawson and others who don't Gennaro to stay in Nigeria. I want the clinic has made it known to everybody that he loves Gennaro. We don't have come to stay. We should actually let him do his job. That is my own take.
All right, appreciate it.
And others, controversial people.
Okay. All right, thank you very much for dropping by. Let's step it up on the show this afternoon and discuss the German Bundesliga fixtures to expect this evening. Freiburg will go head-to-head against Bayer Leverkusen, and tomorrow Hertha Berlin will host Augsburg. Mainz will play home to Hoffenheim. Werder Bremen will travel over to Schalke 04. And Frankfurt will do the same thing on the journey to take up Wolfsburg. Bayern Munich, the champions, runaway champions for many, will host Fortuna Düsseldorf. Is it home and dry already in the German Bundesliga, Wisdom, or can anything still happen? Or is it just a battle of the UEFA Champions League spot at this point?
Reliance, if you ask me, I mean, with the trends of the past, we know that league is closed. But in terms of winning, there's still a lot to fight for. Mathematically, anything could happen. I mean, in five matches or 6, a lot of things could change. But I think the Champions League spots are the places where everybody's eyes would really be on. You look at the teams that are fighting for those spots, Reliance. they are not joking, and they are not planning to let it sleep. RB Leipzig rather, would have been able to actually push themselves. They had the opportunity. I mean, with that sound beating, or maybe not too sound now, that 1-0 beating now of Borussia Dortmund, they would have been able to push themselves into that second spot, but they let it slip, coming out with a draw. So they are third on that table, followed by Borussia Mönchengladbach, who have gathered just 2 points, separating Leipzig and Borussia Mönchengladbach. Leverkusen are on the same point with Borussia Mönchengladbach. This is a very serious fight, Reliance. One of these teams will not be making it to the Champions League, and of course it's clear you can't carry all of them to the Champions League, but with 1 or 2 points just separating this team, 57, 55, 53, 53, it tells you that these teams will be really willing to actually give it their all. I don't know how it's going to be till the end of the season, but you look at the games these teams do have, especially this weekend, maybe Bayer Leverkusen might just see themselves getting back into that top 4 again. They are playing tonight. I mean, that game is coming up by 7:30. They're up against Freiburg, and I mean, a lot of things could change. If they beat Freiburg today, they would just be pushing themselves to 56 points, which would definitely be making them usurp RB Leipzig in that third place. And you look at what the ones that will be coming up on Saturday now, that is, the ones involving the other guys. Some of those games too are winnable. I mean, Bayern Munich, they're already off the cards. Okay, on Sunday rather, that's when the other guys competing for the Champions League would be able to maybe get a shot. Mönchengladbach could be hosting Union Berlin. They should actually get a confident result coming out of that one. And at this point, I'm sure these teams understand it is not just about winning. The way you win matters too. The number of goals you get is very important, because at the end of the day, it could all go down to goal difference between these teams. Now, Borussia Dortmund themselves will be traveling. Really believe they'll be able to get that one.
Give you a tidbit of it. Borussia Dortmund will play home to Borussia Dortmund. Second on the table still, right? Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah.
Can they maintain it?
Reliance is going to be very, very challenging, and a task for them too. It's already a task to win the league now. I mean, in terms of Bayern Munich, the reason why we are talking about Bayern now is because, or we are not talking about them rather, is because they beat Borussia Dortmund, and they've now opened that confident 7 points lead over Borussia Dortmund. But Dortmund are just leading the team from happens to Dortmund against Paderborn. But I tell you, interesting fight we do have in front of us when it comes to the German Bundesliga.
All right, keep your eyes. Later today, there's going to be a German Bundesliga match to be played later today. That's involving Freiburg and Bayer Leverkusen. I've given you the fixtures for tomorrow. Hertha Berlin taking on Augsburg, Mainz 05 playing host to Hoffenheim, Schalke 04 taking on Werder Bremen, and Wolfsburg against Eintracht Frankfurt. Bayern Munich, Fortuna Düsseldorf, and Wisdom believe it's already home and dry for Bayern Munich. Well, anything can still happen in football. Can't it?
Mathematically.
All right. Tomorrow on Sunday, rather, Paderborn will play host to Borussia Dortmund, the supposed title challengers, which many don't think they still are. Whereas FC Union Berlin will be away to Mönchengladbach. Spanish La Liga will resume on the 11th of June with next season. The date for the rhythm side, but this is according to the league's president, Evia Tebas. Tebas said Marca, I hope I pronounced that, 11 matches remaining rather. In the Italian Serie A, resumption dates has already been set June 20, after the Italian government gave it approval on Thursday. Spadafora, the Lega Serie A and Italian Football Federation president and representative from the Players Association and the Association of Italian Sport Medics, a decision to resume the top flight in Italy was taken. Serie A was the first of Europe major league to be affected by the coronavirus pandemic, you could recall. And Italian Football Federation will decide the time frame for Serie A games. But it is expected that teams will play every 3 days across the league. Turn and dusted. The other 4 leagues remaining in Europe, the top elite leagues now. German Bundesliga already running.